Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? It's Mike Reed here. Welcome to it, and welcome to part 7 of the Ultimate Beyblade Burst Collection review, and to the toy review in general. So, last time we're kind of gonna rush into things here a little bit. We left off with Galaxy Zootron here, or the Hasbro version of Galaxy Zeus. So this time we're going to be looking at some more Hasbro versions, some more recolors, and yeah, hopefully this should get us into not only get us through that chest right there, but also should get us into that one right there too. So we're nearing the end, people. Nearing the end. So let's get started here. Starting off with, again, another recolor. This time, this is a Sieg Excalibur recolor. So as you guys can see, compared to the original version, which I will bring in for show. By the way, this is attack type still. Very nice colors there. As you guys can see, kind of like the blue and the red has now been swapped out for this kind of watermelon colors. I finally like to name this one the Watermelon Excalibur for the obvious reasons, the fact that it looks like a watermelon. So as you guys can see, once the camera focuses, there we go. We can see the red and the green there. We can see the black on the flames. We can see the metal stored still intact. And the little gold parts on there too, which look very nice. So, again, same gimmick supply as on the original. So there you go. With this, we also do get the one disc again, which is nice to see. Nothing much to really say about this, as I already said my thoughts and feelings on the first version. But still, nice to see a return of this disc. And then next, we do get this nice green recolor, a greenish-bluish recolor, kind of a teal, actually, version of Iron there, which is very nice. Now, because I don't use this version very often, the metal is still kind of new and shiny. So there you go. That's what a kind of newer-looking Iron looks like. Looks much nicer than a dull Iron driver, but still, nice to get another version of this. Now, this did come in a multi-pack with... Well, it actually came in its own kind of like box set with a launcher and stuff. I think it was called Excalibur's or Excalius set in Hasbro for Evolution. So really nice to see that. Next up, we're gonna take a look at the Hasbro version of Winning Valkyrie here, which we already looked at before. He is still obviously attack type for Hasbro, except now they call it, instead of Winning Valkyrie, it's Wonder Valtriac. But anyway, so comparing it to the Japanese version I have on hand, you guys can see the differences between those two. So there you go. Now, again, this is the original version. This came in the Slingshot Stadium set, which is really cool. I believe it was actually called the Duo Clash Stadium, I believe. I'm going to have to look that up in a minute to make sure that that's the right name. But anyway, this is the, again, Hasbro version of Winning Valkyrie. Looks very, very nice. Looks more akin to the Takara Tomy version, the original, not my special recolor I got with the Stadium set I told you guys about earlier in part 1. So again, nice gold and red there with the V and the sort of silver wings going on. But again, this is not metal, this is just plastic, or polycarbonate plastic. But either way, really nice stuff on this version of Valkyrie. So nice to see. And next up with this, we do get to see the 12 disc make its entry into the Hasbro scene. So nice to see. Again, this isn't the painted one like I got with my special recolor, but it's still nice to get it just in plain metal color, plain silver, as metal should be. The last thing, we're going to take a look at the Volcanic Slingshot driver, which I do get in this nice kind of powder blue. Again, to do the Slingshot mode, you pull it up. There are little notches that will click into notches right there, which if I twist hard enough, it will lock in like so. Thus creating the Slingshot mode there, which is significantly taller than a regular Volcanic driver, which I'm just going to take off a regular one so you guys can see the differences in height between those two. Again, it's going to be kind of hard to show, but there you go. You guys can see the height there a little bit of just how different the height really is. Again, it's going to be kind of hard to show. Let's see if I can show it well. If the camera would actually focus, that would be really great if it could do that. Focus. Focus. Okay, the camera is refusing to focus today. But anyway, you can get the idea that the drivers do have different heights. Except my camera's just being a gurk and doesn't want to focus on anything. Oh, now you decide to focus. Wow. Good. My camera's just being really rude to me today. I have no idea why. Well, then again, it's like that to me every day. Who am I kidding? But anyway, enough of me ranting. So that is the Hasbro original recolor. Now, actually, I'm actually going to keep it off screen here because we're going to be taking a look at its recolor as well. So this is the recolor version. This came in a starter set for Hasbro. This is their original sort of color version of Wonder Valtryek there, so you guys can see. And there is the original version there to compare. Now, this isn't my only recolor I also have from Hasbro. Later on, we're going to look at a third one that I have as well. Yes, you heard me right. I have 3 of these things. So, yeah, at least the Hasbro versions. So, this is my second recolor. It looks very nice. You guys can see the blue there, the red, and the kind of black going on in this sort of clear blue. And I really like how this looks. And I like how the eyes are still yellow on this version. It does look very nice. I do dig this a lot. It's very nice to see. Next up with this, we do get the second release of the 12 disc, so nice to see, again. And then we get this nice red volcanic slingshot driver. Again, same kind of rules apply of how to activate and deactivate the slingshot mode, which on this one's actually quite more difficult because it's actually kind of newer. So I don't particularly use this version all that often. God, it's actually taken a lot out of me to actually get it back into regular mode. But my God, okay, why is this so hard? Okay, just undo it. Okay. Jeez, how tight is this driver? My God, this is actually really, really difficult to actually get it back into regular mode. Why is it so difficult, man? There we go. There you go. Now it's back into regular mode. Just had to quickly just get a bit of my shirt around it, and then it actually managed to get enough strength to actually push it back. But there you go. There you have Winnie Valkyrie there. Both versions for now, anyway. Until we look at the third version, but that's coming later. So next up on the list here, we're looking at a balance type. This time it is the Hasbro release of Z Achilles. So really nice to see. Now for Hasbro, they kept the same name except they added the A4 kind of acronym after, you know, so because that's what Hasbro does. But anyways, the Achilles does look very nice here. As we can see, we're going to bring in the original version from Takara Tomy, so you can see the differences between those two. Obviously, this is not metal. This is, and obviously, you can see some definite design changes there. Like, as you saw, the emblem is no longer thin and kind of, you know, it's not as bolded, I guess, than Hasbro's is. Also, the gem here is actually just a, I don't want to say this. It's like a weird sticker there. Actually, it's not even polycarbonate plastic like it is on the original. So, kind of a shame. So it doesn't really shine nicely in the light like the original one does. So quite a shame. Oh, and also it came with that Winnie Valkyrie I showed you earlier in that same set as well. Which, hang on a second, let me actually quickly look up the name real quick. As I said I was going to do, so. Because I need to remember what the name of that was. That stadium. Gotta make sure it was the right name. Let's see, just gotta look up, what was it? There we go. The Rail Rush Battle Set. I'm sorry, it's called the Rail Rush Battle Set. Okay, my apologies. So both of them came in that same set, which, by the way, in the which in a later episode of this sort of mini-series, we're actually gonna be taking a look at all the stadiums as well, so you guys can see that. And the stadiums also have some exclusive Beyblades to them. But anyway, back to this particular one. We do get the 11 disc as well with this, as you guys can see. Not like my special one where it's painted, but it's more akin to the original, which wasn't painted, obviously. Then lastly, we do get the Extend Slingshot Driver. Now sadly, we do not get the height change necessarily. However, we do get this little column that comes up when you spin the dial here, which as you guys can see, there's a dial there. We pull on those tabs, we pull up, twist, and lock, and there we go. Voice crack. Anyway, so you guys can see how that looks, the Slingshot mode on Extend Slingshot. So nice to see. So putting that back together, we have that. Bam. So there you go. And then next up here, we're actually taking a look at its recolor, which again is modified because of how weak the slopes are on this particular release. So there you go. So this is the recolor that we got, the second one. There's actually a third one, which I'm going to show you guys later as well, that we got. But either way, really nice looking Beyblade, as you guys can see. Now again, for comparison's sake, I'm going to bring back in the original. I don't know why I even bothered to put it back into the slot in the box there, but there you go. So you have those two together, so you guys can see the differences. So obviously with this one, we have a dark red and this kind of lighter red for the plastic part where the metal would normally be on the Japanese. We got the helmet there as well with the little, eye there like we have it usually. The gem, instead of being like a clear blue, is now the solid kind of navy blue. And now we got this silver shield with this sort of faded yellow shield emblem there, which is very nice. And also the background is kind of like this ashy black, which is really cool. Or smoky black, I should say, not ashy, smoky. There we go. That's the better word. So at this one, we do get to see the 11-disc return, which is nice to see. And we do get the Extend Slingshot driver, this time in blue. Again, same gimmick applies. So, there you go. There you have those two. Now, moving on into the Hasbro scene again. Hasbro, once again, has done some really interesting sort of versions of their sort of designs. And let's just say that Hasbro definitely went all out on these ones, at least in my opinion. So, moving on to our first attack type that we got. Here he is. This is Ogre 04, also known simply as just Ogre. But either way, I see this more as Devil, but I'm not the one who named this thing. Either way, Ogre 04, as you guys can see, or just, I'm just going to call him Ogre just for simplicity for the remainder of this, is definitely very red. There's a lot of red here. You can see the smoky black. You can see the silver kind of mohawk on Ogre's head. You guys can see its eye piercing right there with its fang coming out, and this kind of fiery fist going on, which does look really cool. And also, if you guys can see, there you go. You can also see this hair on it as well, which again looks really, really fearsome looking. So again, Ogre is based on an ogre, which is a giant humanoid monster. So does make sense. And on the actual avatar in the Beyblade Burst app anyway, it actually has these kind of chains going on its hands as well, which does look really cool. I do dig it. So with this Beyblade, again, which I should preface that I have modified this because the slopes on this one are garbage. And I do have a recolor of this as well that we got in Hypersphere. But anyway, so with this, we do get the 1-disc, more interestingly enough. I was thinking we were going to get the 1-disc, but no, we just get the regular 1-disc. And we also get the Jaggy Slingshot driver, which, as you guys can see, when you twist the column to the clockwise position, pull it up, and then twist it more, there you go. There's the slingshot mode for you. So you guys can see that. And then just do it counterclockwise and counterclockwise again to click it back into the normal mode. But there you go. So that is Ogre. Very, very interesting and very red start to their new designs for this series. Next up is another attack type, and this one's actually definitely one of my favorites of the attack types they've released for Josie/Turbo. This is Sphinx S4. And I love the look of Sphinx. I dig this so much. When this was revealed, I should say that when this was revealed for Hasbro, I got giddy because this thing looks so dope. Now, as you guys can see, we do have these little slopes here, these little wings, which are supposed to represent sand dunes. Either that or supposed to represent pyramids. But either way, and then we got this kind of metal, not really metal, but this silver metallic star kind of thing, which represents the sun. And then we also do have the pharaoh's face right there, and the S on his head for Sphinx, the little, little ornamental head crest there, which does look very nice. And obviously, Sphinx is obviously enough based on the Sphinx, which was a half-human, half-lion statue that you can see in Egypt. which is really cool to see. Now, the avatar actually is kind of interesting because it's actually more of like this griffin kind of thing, where it's this lion, but it has wings, and then it has the ornamental headdress on it, which is kind of interesting. So definitely very, very interesting, as the original Sphinx from history never had wings. But I'm guessing when you're Hasbro, you can get away with that kind of stuff. So there you go, that is Sphinx. Next up, we're going to take a look at the disc, which we do get to see the 6-disc return. If the camera would focus, because it never seems to like to actually focus on anything. Come on. Focus on the disc. It's right in front of you. There you go. You guys can see. Nice to see that return. And then next, we do get this nice gold Excel slingshot driver. Now, it focuses on that actually fine. So twisting this one open, you just twist it counterclockwise, or actually clockwise, push it up, pull it up, and then counterclockwise lock it. And then you have the mode there. Again, very similar to Fusion Slingshot and Needle Slingshot and a bunch of the other Slingshot drivers. So pretty much shares the same kind of, mechanism. But still, really nice to see. Sphinx does look very, very, very cool. Sadly, we haven't got recolors of this one yet. Kind of sad, but either way, we did get an evolution of this, which I don't have on me. It's called Solar Sphinx. But either way, I'm definitely looking forward to when that one is, when I get my hands on that one. So, and once I get it, I'll definitely do a review of Solar Sphinx, because it looks really, really nice. Next up is another attack type. This is their third one. There's kind of a theme here. They really do like making attack types. Now, this one is kind of a weird one. You'll see why in a moment. This one is called Balor, Balor B4. That's what this one's called. So Balor here, which again is modified due to the weak slopes, is, I don't know what the heck this thing is based on. Now, of course, now eagle-eyed viewers out there might just say that, oh, it's just a ram. Well, no. When I've done my research, Balor, however you want to pronounce it, I think the actual pronunciation is Balor, but it's based on, I think it's based on this kind of demon thing I've been reading up on. So, information for what Balor's based on is kind of iffy. Though the avatar, again, in the Burst app shows this kind of ram character, like this humanoid ram that wields an axe. Kind of weird. Anyway, very odd design here, so you guys can see definitely designed for attack. You guys can see, we can see this ram head right in the middle with its flame coming up from its eye. We can see the two ram heads in the top and the bottom with the horns and their heads kind of molded there. And you can also see these little hooves / B-shaped, well, these B-shaped hooves, which obviously the B-shape stand for Balor. Makes sense. So there you go. Now with this Beyblade, we do get to see the return of the 6-disc again, which is nice to see. And we do get to see the spiral driver as well, and this time in a slingshot form in black. Activating is pretty simple. Just twist it counterclockwise, pull up, twist counterclockwise again, and you get the slingshot mode. And do the opposite to put it back into normal. So again, pretty much the same mechanism, just on a different driver. Nice to see. Do like Balor, very interesting and very weird looking attack type. Definitely reminds me of Ares from the Battle Fight age. If any of my Beyblade fans out there know what I'm talking about. So anyway, moving away from attack types, now we're going to look at some defense types. Starting off with, well, there only one that they've done. I think there's actually a second one that they released called Morigna M4, although sadly I've never been able to get my hands on that one, but if I do get the chance to get my hands on one, I will. And I know it also has a recolor as well, so definitely have to try to get my hands on those. But either way, moving along, this is the first one that they did, and this one is called Typhon T4. So Typhon is based on Typhon, which was a Gorgon from Greek mythology. And if you don't know what a Gorgon is, it's basically the species Medusa is a part of, where you have a snake-like body and then a feminine-like torso with a head full of snake hair. So very nice. And I don't know why they decided to go with Joker colors for this, but I kind of dig it. As you guys can see, right in the middle, we have Balor. Typhon's face there with her red piercing eyes and her fangs just dripping with poison, which does look very cool. We do have this kind of symbol above her head, which is kind of nice. I do dig that. And then we also have this purple kind of poisonous, like smoky cloud kind of thing going around it too, which does look really nice. And then over here, these silver parts are obviously snakes going around it. Some of them looking at you with their fangs, just waiting to lunge out and bite you, which does look really nice. I do dig it. And I like the clear plastic as well for Typhon. Really, really nice looking defense type. With this Beyblade, we also do get the 4-disc. Again, nice to see that return. And then lastly, we get the defense driver, Slingshot. This time in purple. Again, same gimmick applies as we saw on Flame X Diomedes. So, same gimmick, same features apply. But still, do like Typhon. Really, 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 really cool looking defense type. Definitely an out there design. Next up here, we're going to take a look at a stamina type here, starting with Cyclops C4, also known simply as Cyclops. Now, Cyclops, as you guys can see, once the camera focuses, there we go. It's very, very plain looking, as you guys can see with this sort of bronzes metallic paint there going around where metal would be, but of course it isn't. We do have this sort of green going around it as well. Kind of looks like a coin if I think about it. And you guys can also see the C on the top, which obviously stands for Cyclops. And we can actually see the Cyclops' head there with its red eye and its sharp copper teeth. Oh, God. It looks like Cyclops here needs some dental work. But still, the Cyclops is again based on the Cyclops, which is a creature, again, for Greek mythology. It was a humanoid monster with only one eye. So there you go. That is what Cyclops is based on. Very, very nice there. Now again, the avatar for this also shows Cyclops wielding a sort of a spiky wooden club, which is kind of nice too. I dig that. And yeah, so moving on from that, we do get to see with this Beyblade the return of the 5-disc, which the camera would focus. Nice to see a return of this from Blast Genius. It's nice to see. And then lastly, we do get to see the Flugel Slingshot driver, this time in green. Again, same gimmick applies. Here, where you twist the dial and it changes the mode. So very nice to see that. So I do like Cyclops C4. I think it is a really nice looking stamina type. Definitely a weird, plain, and kind of out there design. Like what I mean by out there is it's like, who would have thought to make a Cyclops a Beyblade? I mean, who thinks of that? So, anyways, moving right along here. I'm actually going to rearrange my thing here real fast. Next up, we're actually going to move on to a balance type, that being Dullahan D4 here. So as you guys can see, Dullahan D4s, or simply Dullahan, is based on the Dullahan, which is a Irish interpretation of the Headless Horseman. So there you go. Now, again, we do not see the horse aesthetic at all with this Beyblade, but we do get to see the Headless Horseman's helmet there, as you guys can see with its gold sort of helmet there. That's actually supposed to be this way, actually. We can see the smoky black kind of hair coming out from each of the helmets there. And we can also see these sort of ornamental spikes coming off of it as well. It's really nice to see on Dullahan. And once again, if I didn't say it before, this is balance type. Next to this Beyblade, we do get to see the 7-disc return. Again, nice to see this return from Legend Spriggan or Legend Spryzen for Hasbro. Very nice to see. And again, this is sort of newer because I don't use Dullahan that much. But very nice to see. And then lastly with this, we do get to see the Tower Slingshot driver. So basically the gimmick with this is, again, you just twist it, pull it up, and then twist it again, and it'll change the mode. Though on mine, it's actually really, really tight. And I'm actually afraid of breaking this, so I've never actually used the slingshot mode on this particular driver. But you guys kind of get the idea of how this works by now. So there. Oh, and also with Tower Slingshot, we don't get the tower gimmick like we did with the tower from Shelter Regulus, so kind of a shame. So if you wanted to get a regular tower, you would have to have gotten Shelter Regulus by this point. So kind of a shame. But still, really nice Hasbro exclusive design. Now again, later on we will see a recolor of this as well for Hypersphere, which you guys have already seen if you've seen my earlier toy reviews, but still, nonetheless, really cool stuff. So moving on to the last stamina type for Beyblade Burst Turbo / Cho-Z for the Hasbro exclusive designs, we're going to take a look at Kraken K4. Now, Kraken K4, obviously enough, or just Kraken, is based on the Kraken, which was a giant octopus that consumed entire pirate ships so there you go, in mythology. So really nice to see. And as we can see, we can definitely see the giant squid right there with its red piercing eyes. And it also has these nice anchor details going on the top and the bottom there. Again, a little bit chipped in the paint due to use. And then around it, you can also see these tentacles and these sort of wave details going around, which again looks very, very nice. And oddly enough, the tentacles look oddly mechanical looking, which is kind of weird. But still, really nice design of Kraken. And along with this Beyblade Slayer, we do get to see the 11-disc return with this Beyblade, so very nice to see. And then lastly, we do get a new driver, which was actually the first instance of Hasbro making their own exclusive driver, that being Prevail Slingshot. So Prevail, for such a flashy and very, 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 very fancy sounding name like Prevail, it doesn't do very much. Although there is one thing that Prevail does do. It has a lot of stamina. This thing can spin for hours, man, without losing spin. This thing is crazy. So again, with this, because it isn't part of the Slingshot system, to do the Slingshot mode, you just twist it up, lock it, and there you go. There's the Slingshot mode. Now for the opposite way, you just push it counterclockwise, and it will lock it back in. So there you go. And in this release, you do get it again in the blue to coincide with the layer. So very nice to see Kraken K4. Definitely a nice looking Beyblade. Now lastly, for this box anyway, we're going to be taking a look at its evolution that we got in GT, which you guys have seen in a previous review, but if you haven't, you're going to see it here. That being Cosmo Kraken K5, or just Cosmo Kraken. So Cosmo Kraken, compared to its previous evolution, which I will grab real quickly for comparison. So you guys can see the two there. You can see the differences between those two. Now with Cosmo Kraken is still again a stamina type, still based on the Kraken, but this time it's much more flashy. As you guys can see, the anchors are completely gone, but are now replaced with this very flashy and very well detailed squid head here with these big ornamental details on the head, which does look really, really nice. And with this, we also do get the Cosmo layer base, which I think really is supposed to represent waves surrounding the Kraken, which does look really, really nice. And also you can see its tentacles kind of down there as well. So there you go. There you have Cosmo Kraken. Very, very nice looking. Again, I can't wait till we get a recolor of this, so that way we can actually see this chip in more detail. But with this Beyblade, we also do get a completely new Hasbro exclusive disc. So in Hypersphere, they started making their own exclusive discs. This one being called Lore. Now, Lore doesn't actually do very much, although I will admit this kind of looks like a bottle cap. Not even gonna lie to you. Very, very ornamental, very ancient looking design on Lore, so do like it. And then also with this, we also do get the new driver, Valor Hypersphere. Which Valor, I would assume, if it wasn't a Hypersphere driver, would function the same way as Prevail. But still, very, very nice driver nonetheless. And we do get it in this nice purple color. So nice to see the Valor driver there. Which again, we did see it again with Air Knight K4 that we saw in, or actually no, Air Knight K5 that we saw in part 2. So really nice to see there. So that is that box done. Nice. So moving on to this chest over here. Moving on there. I'm going to start off with with another attack type, jumping back to the early burst system here. So jumping way back in time here, we're going to start off with Minoboros. So here he is, Minoboros, very simplistic looking. Minoboros, obviously enough, is based on the Minotaur, which was a humanoid bull creature that guarded the labyrinths in Greek mythology. It's really nice to see. So as you guys can see there, we can see the horns there on Minoboros. You can see the silver kind of chip there as well, with this kind of M and this sort of like, I don't want to say engraved, but like this sort of like molded M for Minoboros there. Nice to see. And we can also see sort of the horns of Minoboros there as well, which again, very, very nice looking layer there for Minoboros. Now with this Beyblade, we also do get to see the return of the oval disc, which again is really nice to see. Nice to see another version of oval if the camera would focus. So you guys can see how sort of oblong and round it is. Well, oblong. Not really round, but sort of, well, it's rounded and it's oblong shaped. So obviously fit with Minoboros' kind of layer design, which is nice to see. Kind of forces the contact points on it. Then lastly, we get to see the first version of the Quick Driver, this time in yellow. So really nice to see that, if the camera would focus on it. Focus. Focus. There we go. So really nice to see the first version of the Quake Driver for Hasbro. So there you go. There is our first version of Minoboros. Really nice to see. Now next up here, we're going to be taking a look at its evolution as well, which actually I'm going to grab Minoboros back here for this part. This is the Hasbro version of Mad Minoboros. So as you guys can see, Mad Minoboros has changed significantly for Hasbro. And again, the name still remains the same, except now it's called, I believe, M4. Yes, because this was released in, no, actually it was called M3, because it was released in Evolution. And released, oddly enough, in the same wave as the Psychic Phantom was for Hasbro. So, or Phrenic Phantasis, if you want to call it by the Hasbro name, which again sounds garbage compared to the Japanese. So again, for comparison, here you have the Japanese layer with it. So you guys can see the differences between those two there. So again, same like the Japanese, we do get to see the details on the top of the horns there. We do get to see the tattoos return as well. We do get to see the head crest sort of thing with the gem and the eyes and the nose ring. And we do also get to see the horns as well. So really nice to see on this version. Now with this Beyblade, we also do get to see the return of the knuckle disc, which is really, really nice to see. Another version of this. Then lastly, we get to see another version of the Jaggy Driver, this time in this sort of forest green color again. Nice to see. So there you go. There you have Mad Minoboros Hasbro. Very nice looking Beyblade. Definitely do like it a lot. So next up here, this is a balance type, I believe. Yes, I believe this is. No, this is stamina type. I'm sorry. This is the stamina type recolor of a Beyblade we looked at again in part 1, that being Quad Quetzalcoatl. So this recolor, which we got in Evolution, is really, really, really nice looking. And I do dig this one a lot. If the camera would actually focus. Focus on it. Focus on it. Focus on it. Hang on. Sorry, guys. My camera's, for some reason... There we go. Now it's picking up. Yeah, so it looks really, really nice. As you guys can see with the blue on the eyes, the red tongue, the black wings with the green insides. And we can also see the blue snake body that leads into the stinger tail. Which is really, really nice to see on this one. Now, again, for comparison, we are going to bring in the original Quad Quetzalcoatl, so you guys can see those two there. And for another comparison, we are going to bring in also the Stone X Quetzalcoatl as well. So you guys can see the differences between those two there as well. So this is, again, like I said before, my third recolor. Or at least... Well, it's my second recolor of this Beyblade overall, but it is actually my third version of Quetzalcoatl. Well, it's my third version of Quetzalcoatl overall, but it's my second recolor in general. There we go. That's how I want to phrase that. So looking past the layer, we do get to see the return of, oddly enough, of all discs they could have chosen, the ring disc, which is very nice to see. Again, in this just regular metal color. Then lastly, we do get, we get the edge driver with this as well. This time in yellow. Again, kind of a shame. I was hoping for something different in this one, but no, we got edge. So ring edge. Really nice to see there, though. Really nice. Recolor. I do dig it. Now, next up here, this will definitely be a throwback for some of you. We're going to be taking a look at the Japanese version of a Beyblade we already looked at in part 1. That being, which again, you can see the original review on my channel. But again, we're going to look at it here for those who are new. And or haven't seen it, you're going to see it here as well. So that's kind of a bonus for you guys. This is this is Beast Behemoth, the Japanese version. Now I should have said before in part 1. I don't know if I did. If I did say it, definitely let me know in the comments. But I believe I actually did say that the Hasbro version was called Beast Betromoth. So there you go. Now again, for comparison, here we actually have the Hasbro version, Beast Betromoth, so you guys can see the differences between those two. It's really nice to see there. Now for the Japanese version, as you guys can see, it has this nice sort of cream pink kind of color, kind of like a lavender color, with this nice orangish reddish claws going around here. With the bee again in the mouth of the beast there for Beast Behemoth. Hard to tell because of the clear plastic, but it is there. You also see it once I take the parts off. Put my finger there. There you go. You can kind of see. Yeah, you can kind of see there the bee for Beast Behemoth. Very nice to see. So I do like this layer a lot. Though again, for Takara Tomy, this is heavily outclassed, and also the teeth on this are kind of meh. But there you go. So this Beyblade, we also do get to see the return of the heavy disc, which is really nice to see. So, again, in a sort of plain silver. Again, we already saw this again with Beyblades like Guardian Kirby's, but this was its, I believe, its second release, which is kind of cool. Nice to see it again. And then also, you get to see the Takara Tomy version of the Hold Driver, this time in this kind of blue color. So, again, really nice to see. Same gimmick applies as on Hasbro's. Kind of the loose, well, not really loose, but the kind of jointed, flat little toothy plate there. So really nice to see there. So there you go. The Beast Behemoth, really nice to see there. So nice teeth on that for a dual layer anyway. So nice to see. Next up here, we're going to be taking a look at another attack type. This time, jumping forward into the Evolution series, we're taking a look at the Hasbro version of God Valkyrie again. So again, we did see this in part 1, and if I didn't state it before in part 1, the Hasbro name for this was Genesis Valtryek. So really nice to see. Again, same mode kind of applies with this as we saw with the previous two, with the wing, with the double wing strike gimmick, or the double strike function. So nice to see. Now again, for comparison, we are going to bring in the original version there, so you guys can see the differences between those two. And then next, we're going to take a look at the second version I have right here, so you guys can see. Very nice looking. So again, really nice colors on there. I do like the orange, the blue, the red, and the sort of yellow there as well. And I like the sparkly plastic as well. Kind of adds a nice finish to this Beyblade. So with this Beyblade, we also do get these 6 and Vortex frames, which again is very nice to see, this time in black, so very nice. Do dig it. Instead of red. Then lastly, we do get these nicely red, this sort of fitting red reboot driver. Again, same gimmick still applies, but again, nice to see another version of Evolution. Not Evolution, Reboot, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the season this came out in. Well, and also the name for the driver for this guy, Chozi Valkyrie, who we saw in part 1. Which, actually, in a bit, once we get into the later parts, we are going to actually see the Hasbro version of it as well, which is going to be really nice to see. So next up here, this is one of the sort of rarer Beyblades to get. This is a stamina type, again from the God series, and this one is really interesting for a sort of special release Beyblade. That being, this is Orichalcum, or Orichalcum 03 in Hasbro terms. So the only way you could actually get this originally for Takara Tomy is you had to do what was called a Rare Baguette Challenge, which was an online game where if you won, you would have the chance of getting this mailed to you from Japan. But again, it was exclusive to Japan, and you would get it mailed to you that way if you won the game. And the game, from what I've heard, is really, really hard. And you had to use this sort of point system you would get for the Japanese system of Beyblade. So, but for Hasbro, they actually managed to get the okay from Takara Tomy to actually release their version of Orichalcum. So now it's really, really easy to get because you can just go online, buy it from Hasbro, get it sent to you for real cheap. But anyway, with this Beyblade, the gimmick with this one is that there's little parts here, which makes for a burst-proof shield here, as you guys can see. And Orichalcum, I should have stated before, so I got a little bit rushed into things here. It is based on Orichalcum, the rare fictional, the fictional rare Atlantean metal from Atlantis. So there you go. So opening it up here, as you guys can see, the core will actually change colors when it actually activates the shield. So it'll start off yellow when it's going slower, and when you launch it at full speed, these will pop out, revealing these sort of eyes underneath the heads here, the headdresses, and the core will change to a red color. Which, again, this camera's having a hard time picking it up, but it does change to a red color, which is nice to see. And also, whilst it's on the underside, these little clamps will clamp onto the driver to activate the burst-proof shield and to enforce the power behind the shield. So nice to see. With this Beyblade, we also do get a very rare disc, that being Outer. Outer is very nice. I do like the look of this. As you guys can see, definitely looks a lot like the quarter disc and the ring disc somewhat. And obviously, it does have this sort of Greek sigil for Outer there, which is very nice. So, well, actually, it doesn't actually mean, Outer at all. It's actually the Omega symbol for Greek symbols. So kind of weird there, but still really nice to see there. Then lastly, we get the driver, which was probably the hardest part, and one of the main reasons why it was so expensive for a while until Hasbro released it. This is called Octa. Now, Octa, competitively for Beyblade, is one of the best parts to get. Because look at all this right here. You see all that? That's all metal right there. That's a big metal plate right there. And also on Octa, as you guys can see, it does have 8 sides, like an octagon, respective to its sort of name, Octa. And it does have this little gold plate here, which does have a little kind of like a little raised bit here, which functions to help with stamina. So again, this is the main reason why it was so expensive for Japan, was the Octa driver, which now you can actually get easier as it did come out in a 3-pack for a GT. Which came with, I believe, Lord Spriggan, Ace. Yeah, it came with Lord Spriggan, Ace. No, it came with Slash Dragon, and it also came with, what was it? Dread Bahamut, sorry. I kind of had a brain fart there on what the names were for the Beyblades that came in that multi-pack. But anyway, so you guys can also see on this driver, kind of to help the gimmick work, if the camera would flip and focus. There we go. Come on. Get in the frame. Come on. Focus. Focus, camera. Focus, darn you. There's nothing there. There's only driver on screen. Thank you. There we go. So you guys can see the teeth right there on the driver. Looks really nice. And again, when the clamps on the bottom of the layer, as you guys can see there, the little teethy clamps lock onto the driver, this will make it very difficult to burst that way. And for a while, this was definitely a difficult Beyblade to burst, and was sort of the first introduction of a burst-proof gimmick on a Beyblade. That is, until Chozi came along and improved it significantly from this kind of early concept of this. through this rare exclusive release Beyblade, special release Beyblade. So really nice to see. So next up here, we're going to be taking a look at its recolor that we got through Takara. And again, this was a mail order exclusive for a while until we got Amazon listings on Amazon for this. And this is, again, another stamina type, this time being Shadow Orichalcum. So Shadow Orichalcum is sort of supposed to be the dark doppelganger of Orichalcum. So you guys can see that there, the differences between those two. See, very evil, and not as evil looking. There. So with this, as you guys can see, it's much smoother than Orichalcum. It doesn't have too many gaps on this one. Very silver, and I love this purple. This purple I dig to death. So the gimmick with this, again, is that it has a burst-proof shield on it, which when you pull up, as you guys will see, the outer ring, the outer shield, and the core change yellow when it's activating the shield. And you guys can also see the gold eyes of the faces there with their snarling teeth, which again does look really, really, really cool. I do dig it. So there you go. Now this one actually does have really good teeth as well, and again it does have the clamps for the driver as well. Now again with this, we do also get some rare parts with this one, first of which being the Aero Disc. The Aero Disc was originally released with a burst system Beyblade special release kind of promo Beyblade called Amaterios, and which you're actually going to see its evolution here in a moment, Shining Amaterios. So, well, actually not in a moment, in a little bit, we're going to see it. But either way, the original version is very, very hard to come by of Amaterios, and that's what this initially came with for Takara. But either way, the Aero Disc does look very nice with the sort of sun aesthetic with the kind of flaming purple details on it. Again, really nice to get a really rare part relatively easily through Japan there. Then lastly, we get another rare piece, which I need to clean off real quick a little bit. There we go. This is the Bite Driver. So the Bite Driver originally came with Badarov, also known as Balder, which was based on Balder from Norse mythology. He was a man that he was a demigod who could never feel pain. I mean, you could literally punch him as hard as you could and he wouldn't feel it. He's just very resilient to pain. So really, really cool. There. Now again, we do see the B symbol there for Bite, respectively. And the Bite Driver's whole gimmick is that it has this little rubber ball on the inside of it. And it has these little teeth-like plastic protrusions coming around the ball. And these teeth are supposed to help it bite, as the name would suggest, into the stadium and help it so that it doesn't get knocked over when it takes a hard hit. So that's the whole gimmick of the Bite Driver. So really kind of interesting. So there you go. That is Shadow Orichalcum. Very, very interesting and very cool looking special release Beyblade. So, really nice. And I'm glad I got a Beyblade as rare as that one is. As that one is increasingly, especially nowadays, is getting really, really hard to come by. Not to mention super rare as well. So, really, really nice. So next up here, I'm going to take a look at another Hasbro version of a previously released Beyblade we saw for Takara. Sorry, I am dyslexic. So this Beyblade here is the Hasbro release of Archer Hercules, which was released in Hasbro under the name Hercules H4. So there you go. So Hercules, again, is pretty much the same as Takara, as you guys can see right at the top there. So you guys can see the differences between those two. So there you have that. And again, it does have the same gimmick where the bows come out for the stamina mode, which is nice to see on this one. And again, this is stamina type, I've already said before. Still stamina type for Hasbro. With this Beyblade, we also do get the second release of 13. So very nice to see this disc return. And then lastly, we do get the Hasbro version of Eternal, which we already looked at before with previous Beyblades and previous reviews. online here, but this time this is its Slingshot version, and this is its first release for Hasbro in yellow. So nice to see. Now again, with this whole driver, again like other drivers that we've seen before, if the camera would focus, we can see that when you twist it like this, and not when they line it up with the notches here, we can pull the driver up and put it in its slingshot mode. And then for the opposite, just line it back up again, and then push down. And now it's back in its regular mode. So nice to see. Eternal there. Now for Hasbro, I should mention that there is no POM plastic on the little free spinning plate. That is just plastic now. So kind of a shame. But either way, nice to see on this Beyblade. There. So next up here, we're going to take a look at another Hasbro version of a previously released Japanese product. That being, if I can actually move the camera, Hell Salamander. Also known as Heat Salamander in Hasbro terms, because obviously we can't say hell in America because kids and censorship. So good job, Hasbro. So anyway, Heat Salamander here, or Hell Salamander, is still pretty much relatively the same as the Japanese version, as you guys can see above. And again, no metal on this one, and you can also change the modes on this one, surprisingly enough as well. So you go in the back, pull the plunger, and then you simply just twist and then push the plunger back up to change the modes there. So you can actually see really well there how the mode actually changes. So again, once you confirm the mode you want to use, just push up the plunger to lock it in. So there you go. Really solid lock on that. So nice layer there. Now with this, we also do get to see the third release of the, well actually no, this is actually second release, my apologies. The second release of the 12 disc. Actually no, it is the third, I'm sorry. My apologies. This is the third release of 12. If the camera would focus, my god, the camera does not like to focus on things. There we go. You guys can see the 12 disc there. And then lastly, we do get to see the Operate Slingshot driver, which does have the mode change as before. You push it, except this time, unlike Takara Tomy, you can, I almost said Hasbro. You can push the part down to lock it, but on this one it doesn't do that. However, you can activate the slingshot mode on this one. Very, very simple. So if you have an attack mode, you just push it back to defense mode, pull up the plate, twist it around, and now it's in slingshot mode. Now, interestingly enough, you can actually put it back into attack mode, so you could actually have two different slingshot mode configurations there. Well, that's nice to see. And then for the opposite, just push it and lock it back down. And then bam, there you go. So there you have Operate Slingshot. Very nice to see. And it's a nice magenta color as well to nicely accent the purples, and well, not really the purples, but the pinks of the layer. So really nice to see there. Heat Salamander. So, now of course, because it is Hasbro and because of the lack of metal, it does not actually spin steel as well as you would think, but still, nice to see this released anyway. Also, what's going on? Azzy Town, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you tuning in today. So definitely, once this video gets fully uploaded and edited and stuff, and kind of, polished up a bit, definitely do watch the full coverage here, as there actually are some really cool Beyblades I actually covered before you came here. But still, either way, glad to see you here on stream today, because it was kind of quiet for a bit here. So, next up here, we're going to take a look at another sort of rare Beyblade. Now, I actually brought this up earlier with Orichalcum. We're going to be taking a look at Shining Amaterios, also known as Shining Amaterios A4, which actually should be called A3. Well, actually, it's called A3, but it should be called A4. My apologies, because it's part of the Showa layer system. But either way, Shining Amaterios, again, was a rare Bay-Get exclusive for Japan, which I already explained the game earlier with Orichalcum. But now Hasbro has gotten the okay from Takara Tomy to release it in their toy line, which is really, really cool. I do dig it. You got a lot, bro. You flexing. Thank you, I appreciate it. That's really nice of you to say. I do have a lot of Beyblades here. I'm just showing these off just because, why not? I've already done a couple reviews on a few Beyblades, but why not just show off my entire collection so that way you guys can actually get the full scope of just how into Beyblade I really am. So anyway, back to Shining Amaterios here. It does look very, very nice. Now, Amaterios is again based on Amaterasu, which is I believe a Chinese sun god. So really nice to see. And you can actually see Amaterios there as well, with the flames coming off of her body there. Really nice to see, or her head, with the green eye and the snarling mouth, which does look very nice. As you saw, as I was kind of fiddling with the layer here, it does have a small little gimmick where these little red spikes will move out when it is spun, kind of making it look like a bright shining sun there. Which again doesn't do very much because they'll just be knocked back in anyway, but still nice gimmick nonetheless. So there you go. So that's Shining Amaterios. Now with this Beyblade, we also do get to see the return of, well actually the introduction of a brand new disc and frame with this. With this, we get Aero Dash, which again is very nice to see. Now, we did see the previous Aero Driver on, on Shadow Orichalcum, so we did see that as well with that one. And then we also do get to see the angle frame as well, which is obviously based on a triangle, hence the name. Very nice sigils on this one, too. Very nicely detailed for angle, so nice to see. Kind of helps with, and it also helps with Valkyrie and stuff like that as well, which is really, really cool. Now with this, we get a really interesting driver with this one, that being the Anchor driver. So Anchor, which was first released here with Shining Amaterios, has this really kind of weird red sort of skirt going around the tip here, which is basically supposed to help the gimmick. Now, basically the gimmick with this is similar to drivers like like the Unite driver and the what's the other driver that I'm thinking of? The Merge driver, where you have the flat tip there. When it's knocked off balance, the rubber will strike the stadium floor, thus making it move more aggressively, which is really, really cool. I do dig this. So really, really nice. So do dig that. Shining Amaterios, really nice to see. I'm glad I got this particular version as well. Let's see, you only have 15 Beyblades and 2 stadiums, and about 5 launchers. Now, actually, I'm glad you actually brought up the stadiums and launchers as in its own kind of extras episode that I'm going to be doing, which is probably going to be episode 8, is what it's going to be, hopefully. Or maybe episode 9, I don't know. Depends on how quickly I can get through this next few Beyblades here. But still, really nice to see there. I will be doing reviews on that in its own extra episode of all my other accessories. So next up here, we're going to be looking at some more Hasbro versions of Beyblades, this time starting off with the defense type Revive Phoenix, as you guys can see. Now this is, again, was known as Revive Phoenix P4 in Hasbro terms. And again, for comparison, we're going to bring in the Black Wing Revive Phoenix, so you guys can see the comparison between the two. So this is how it would look more for Takara Tomy. So there you go. At least for the original color variant of it. Excuse me, voice crack. But anyway, back to Revive Phoenix here. It does look very, very nice. I do like the red there with the blue that fades into the white. And I like the yellow, the red, the blue, and the silver. Those look very nice. Which the silver would be where the metal would be. And also there would be blue here on the top and bottom as well for the Japanese. And there would also be stickers for the top wings and the bottom wings as well. Do I play the Beyblade Burst app? Great question. I do have it. I just haven't played on it in a very long time. If you want to add me on there, sure. I might do some battles with you sometime. That could be really fun. But yes, I do. I do play the Beyblade Burst app. I just haven't done it in a long time. As a matter of fact, I still have to add Beyblades on there. Jeez. But either way, really nice to see here. Revive Phoenix. So, again, with this one, we also do get to see the return of the armor gimmick. I do apologize that I didn't bring that up earlier, which on mine is actually kind of faulty, but either way, you just twist it, comes off, and you do get the smaller form again. And this time it does not have the metal on it either, so kind of a shame. And then with this, we do get to see the return of the 10 disc, or the introduction of the 10 disc. 10 disc for Hasbro. My god, I am dyslexic. I'm seriously dyslexic. My apologies. But there you go. There you have the 10 disc. My god, my tongue's just going to sleep here. Then lastly, we do get to see the friction driver, this time the Slingshot version. Now, sadly, with this one, we do not see the POM plastic. And to change the mode, you just twist it. You push the slider here, and it will change the mode. Also, no rubber skirt either. Well, kind of a shame for Hasbro. So putting back on the armor here, we are going to take a look at the Japanese, well, Hasbro version of the Japanese release of Dead Phoenix. Next. My apologies, my mouth is just falling asleep to me. Falling asleep on me today. My god, my tongue is not working. Okay, my apologies. I am dyslexic. Just kidding, jokes aside. No offense to anyone who's actually dyslexic, no offense, but seriously, my tongue is just not working and I have no idea why. It's annoying me. But anyway, here it is. Here is Dead Phoenix. This time it is called Dread Phoenix, obviously for censorship reasons, because we can't talk about death in America, so good job, Hasbro. Anyway, so for comparisons real quick, we're going to bring in the Japanese version, so you guys can see the differences there. As you can see, flashy, dull. Flashy, dull. Cool, lame. So there you go. They have the differences there between the two. So you can see, no metal on this one. Again, none of the yellow stickers on these sort of arrows there. No stickers really, well, that's just details here on the flames. And also, obviously, with this one, we don't get the metal either. On the underside either, which is actually accurate to the Japanese. So good on you, Hasbro. So again, you do get to have the dead armor on this as well, which does come off. And when you put it on both, well, when you swap the armors around with the Phoenixes, you can make both Perfect Phoenix here, which again doesn't really do very much on this version. And you can also make Imperfect Phoenix as well. So you can see how those two look there. So very nice to see you can still make the anime combos as well. The perfect and imperfect forms. So really nice to see. Again, my face is just falling asleep. And again, we do have the smaller form as well for this, like we did see with Revive Phoenix. Nice to see. Taking this off, we do get to see the return of the 10 disc again. So nice to see. And then we do get another friction driver, this time in a sort of a charcoal color. Push the switch in again to change the modes, same as the original release. So very nice to see. So that is Dead Phoenix, or Dread Phoenix. Very nice to see. Also, thank you again, what's your name again? Azzytown, for the comments. I do appreciate it. Again, you are more than welcome to watch the full series. As I did say before, on part 1, I will have links to all the episodes there. So that way you guys can watch every episode and kind of binge them straight from there if you don't want to go digging through the playlist. The personal video specials and tour reviews playlists. So, there you go. There you have that. So next up here, we're going to be taking a look at another recolor. This time, it is the balance type, or in this case, the stamina type, of Z Achilles A4. So I finally like to call this one the Ninja Achilles, because obviously it's very black. Very evil kind of looking. As you guys may or may not see, which there you go, the light actually gets it really nice. You can actually see the black sigil right there. You can see the black headdress plumage. You can see the black swords there, which is very nice, and the sort of smoky black for the clear plastic. You'll watch all of them. Oh, thank you, Icy Town. I appreciate it. So again, for comparison, we are going to bring in the original version and the recolored version from before. Which again, there actually is one more. Yeah, there's actually one more recolor I have of Z Achilles. So in total, here I actually have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. I actually have 5. Actually, no, 6. 6 different Z Achilles layers. My God, I have 6 of them. 6 different Z Achilles, which is crazy. Just the Z Achilles. So again, for comparison, we have the original Hasbro version right there. And again, we're also going to bring in the recolor version as well. It's nice to see the starter set version. Putting those ones back, bringing back the black one into view. Very nice to see. Taking this one apart, we do get to see the 8-disc again. Nice to see. Then lastly, we get the Prevail driver again, this time in black. Again, same slingshot mode applies, because literally the same driver, just in black. So nice to see. Now, actually on this one, I will say the slopes are significantly improved from the original versions. So good job, Hasbro. Took you 3 different tries to actually get it right. So, I'm going to be right back, guys, real quick, as I just noticed my phone's about to die, so... And it was just 100% earlier, and I don't know how it got down to 7, but my god, my phone's battery is just garbage. So, my apologies, guys. I will get my charger real quick, and then we're going to go through the last few Beyblades, and then end the episode. So, there you go. Be right back, guys. Alright, now that I have grabbed my charger, and I'm going to quickly plug it into my phone. Like a shoe. Boop. There we go. Now my phone won't die. Because we don't want that to happen, do we? We don't want me to just be talking and then then the audio just cuts completely and it just goes black. That wouldn't be too good. And it'll probably end up deleting the recording anyway. So next up here, we're going to take a look at another Hasbro version here, which I do also have a recolor as well that we're going to look at later. Well, actually, no, we're going to look at it in the next part, actually. So yes, it will be part 9 where we do the extras. We're going to bring in here Cho Z Achilles, also known as Turbo Achilles, for Hasbro terms. So bringing in the original Japanese version, you can immediately see the differences between these two. Exciting, dull. Exciting, dull. Would buy, not buy. There you go. Okay. So jokes aside, actually I do recommend buying these Beyblades, guys. These are really good stuff. You can get a hold of these. If you're a Beyblade fan, this is good stuff. But anyway, Turbo Achilles here is very nice. And oddly enough, on my version, it actually has a quality control error. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but one of the bumpers is not present here. No, I didn't just open up the layer and remove it, and I'm just making a joke here. I'm dead serious. The bumper was missing in the box. Come on, Hasbro, what are you doing? What is this? Anyway, moving away from that, little error there. It does look very nice nonetheless. So you guys can see the big shield there. You can see the sigil as well. The sort of blue mini shield with the blue gem there. Well, actually, yeah, it's a golden red shield, but with the blue gem. There you go. I am just Luke sick. And you can also see the green eyes there with the helmet, which is very nice to see. I also do like the swords, as plain as they are, and without the metal. Again, great job, Hasbro. Very nice to see here. And again, the burst stoppers are present on this one, but because one of the bumpers is missing, and because of how weak the springs are on this thing, this layer is garbage in terms of the burst stoppers. They barely even do anything. They're literally just there because Hasbro was just like, oh, we needed to put the gimmick on, so just throw it on there. They really had like no effort with these ones. And that's with both this one and the Turbo Valtryek we'll look at in later parts, which you can actually see it right up there. That's Turbo Valtryek right there. But either way, back to Turbo Achilles here, or Cho Z Achilles. Really nice Beyblade, even if it does have a lot of problems. Also, slopes on this one are garbage. Literally, as you can see, I barely even twisted it and it just popped apart. Anyway, so looking at this, so moving on from this Beyblade, we can also see the 00 disc there as well. It's very nice to see. Nice to see a return of this. Again, one of the heaviest discs before it was outclassed by, I believe, one of the chassis in Super King, but I could be wrong on that. Again, I haven't looked too much into Super King, but still, does look really interesting. Really interesting looking releases for that one. But again, if it wasn't for COVID, I probably would have those and have done reviews for them already. But anyway, and I will also be reviewing them again here. So next up here, we're going to take a look at the Dimension Slingshot Driver, which is very nice to see. And as you guys can see, if you twist the dial, you can change it to the Slingshot mode, which if you twist it all the way, you'll get the full Slingshot mode. Now, the height for the Slingshot mode is absolutely ridiculous. Compared to the original, it gets nowhere near as high as this one. And then twisting it back will change the modes as well. From the semi-tip to from the full tip to the semi-tip to the completely flat tip, like we saw before. But again, no rubber cone tip on there. So kind of a shame. Also, none of the nice helpful locks as well. The spring kind of clicks for when you're changing the modes. Now, to answer that question real quick, do I have an Instagram? I do, but I don't use it for YouTube. I mostly just use it for phone games. I don't actually use it for, social media purposes. But thank you for the questions. I do appreciate it. But again, I don't actually use my Instagram. However, I do have a YouTube. I do have a Discord, which I'm active on. I talk a lot on there, along with my mods and my fans. So you have that. So if you do have a Discord, you can reach me that way, or just reach me on YouTube by dropping a comment, and I'll probably respond to it as soon as possible there as well. Let's see what else I do have. Let's see. Now that we're on the topic, real quick, take a little break here to rest my tongue. I also do have a Facebook. Which again I mostly use for mobile games, but I do have a Facebook. I do also have a Snapchat, which again I don't use for YouTube. I mostly just use it for just chatting with my school friends and just, posting, statuses here and there. But I don't use it for YouTube or anything, so. But then again, thanks for the questions. I do appreciate it, but yeah, there you go. So. Oh, and also, I just found out the other day that apparently I made a DeviantArt account some time ago. I don't know why I made a DeviantArt account. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why it exists. I literally have nothing on it. But yeah, I do also have a DeviantArt account for some odd reason. I have no idea why. I am not a Deviant artist. I do visit there sometimes to actually get thumbnails for... Not for videos, but for my, my Discord and stuff like that. For that, I used to use that for that, and I also used it for. Let's see what else I used my DeviantArt for. Just generally, just kind of browsing on there, just kind of seeing what there was. Well, that is until I got to the weird side of DeviantArt, and that's why I stopped using it. But anyway, that's enough about that, because I don't think you guys want to hear about that, do you? No, I don't think so. So anyway, moving back on from my social media shenanigans, which I do a lot of that, especially if you watch Minecraft with friends, you'll definitely see just how dumb I can be. But anyway, enough making fun of myself. Let's just move right along to the next Beyblade here, if I can actually get it here. Hang on, just doing something quick on my computer, because there is an email here. Shut up, emails. I don't care, Amazon, that there's something recommended for me. Shut up. Anyway, so yeah, I'll here in the background just for, editing purposes and stuff for after. So I do have it there. So next up here, we are going to take a look at a Beyblade that we already looked at before in a separate review. But again, we're just re-reviewing it here for, the collection. We're going to be taking a look at Bushin Ashura from GT. And this is a defense type, and a really interesting one at that. Because I do like the look of this one. Bushin Ashura again is based on the Ashura, or actually no, it's based on the Ashura, which was which are multi-armed divine deities of Hinduism. So there you go. So, and as you guys can see, we can see the multi-armed aesthetic here with these 6 hands holding these 6 swords there, which kind of do look like they're on fire or have just been recently came out of a forge, which is kind of nice. And as you guys can see, we can see the flame there with the flaming helmet with the 3 heads there. The 2 there and then the 1 in the middle, which is nice to see. And the A for Asherah. So nice to see. So taking the layer off, we're taking a look at the parts with this. We do get to see the Hurricane Disc. Again, very similar to Tornado Wyvern for Beyblade Burst God. It's basically what I like to call the God gimmick on a disc kind of disc here. So you have the metal insert, and then you have this part that spins around to deflect attacks from below, which again, for how Burst works, this gimmick is basically useless. Although it does have the benefit of actually helping it recover spin if it does hit a wall, so it can actually roll the attack off instead of just getting clicks or, you know, losing any kind of stamina. So there you go. Nice to see there. And then lastly, we do get to see the Keep Driver and this nice kind of jade look on it. This nice kind of jade color. If the camera would focus. Focus! Focus camera. It's not focusing. Focus on it. There are no Beyblades down there. Look at the driver. Thank you. Okay. So you can see there is a little rubber ball here, which is on a little pin that spins around freely there. So the whole gimmick with this is that it would sit in place and the driver would just kind of rotate on its axis there on the pin. So really nice to see on the Keep Driver. So there you go. There is Bushin Asherah. Really nice looking. So next up here, I'm going to be taking a look at another stamina type. This time being Heaven Pegasus, which I do like. Now, Heaven Pegasus, obviously enough, is based on the Pegasus, which was the divine winged horse of Greek mythology. So really nice to see. Now, as you can see, we can see the Pegasus kind of represented here with the sort of feathery wind kind of plumage parts coming off of the top and the bottom there. We can see the wings, or actually, this could actually look like the tail or the wings of the Pegasus, but these are actually supposed to be the wings. But at first, I actually thought that it was supposed to be the tail. I know. It does look like a tail. But with this Beyblade, as you can see, we do have the chip as well, which represents the Pegasus with its head and its bluish, silverish mane coming down there, and its golden horn that's kind of cut off by the groove there for the chip. Now with this, as I just completely skipped over with Bushin Asherah, we also do get these. With Bushin Asherah, we do get the 10 weight, but on this one we actually get the Sen weight, which is one of the best weights to get because it covers all the little hexagons on the base, allowing it to have great weight distribution. This thing is great. Also, this does have a gimmick as well, that being the recovery gimmick. So with this, as you guys can see right there, if you look at the sides, there are these little gold wings here, which when you click it halfway, the gold wings will pop out. Now, when these are hit in battle, these will actually rewind the clicks, thus recovering it back, and if it's hit hard enough, it can actually be recovered all the way back to its default mode. And basically, that allows it to have a second chance at life, kind of like Revive Phoenix. It kind of heals itself. So, which is really kind of cool. I do dig the gimmick of this. Which, again, I believe this was first seen with this Beyblade. And then was later integrated into, Dread Bahamut or Dusk Balkash for Hasbro. Which, again, the Hasbro stripped the gimmick entirely. So, good job, Hasbro. Oh my god, I can go on for days about Hasbro and their recent dirty work with Hasbro releases. Which, again, we did get to see this in Hasbro as well, but it's called Harmony Pegasus. But, again, I do not have that on hand yet, as my stores don't have them yet, and I'm kind of upset about it. And the main differences with that one are obviously going to be the colors and the, there is no of the healing gimmick. It's stripped entirely. Good job, Hasbro. So moving on to the disc, and enough of my ranting, we can see the return of the 10 disc here, which is very nice to see. We can also see the polish frame with this. So if you... polish. Proof! My god! I'm sorry. Brain fart. We do get the proof frame, the polish frame. What a stupid thing to say. Good job, me. Anyway, so, see, even I make mistakes, you know? Even with stuff like this. So, proof frame, nice to see. This originally came on Geist Fafnir if you got the box set for Japan, the sort of expansion pack. But, of course, I didn't get that. Neither did I get Geist Fafnir to Karatomi. Good job, me. So, but anyway, I do have the proof frame there, so it's nice, and it's in gray. The fact I actually called it the polish frame, how dumb am I? My god, I am so sorry for that. I bet probably a lot of Beyblade fans out there probably cringed at that. My god. But anyway, so moving on to the driver here, we do get the low driver, which is nice to see. Which the low driver really is a very low driver. It is actually very, very short. And it's in this nice kind of yellow color. If the camera would frickin' focus. There we go. And it does have this metal plate on it as well. That's free spinning, similar to Eternal. So nice to see. And a nice little yellow point there for the stamina. And I'm surprised at how resilient that point actually is. I thought that would have worn down many, many, many months ago since I've owned this. But still, I did do a separate review on this when I did get it. But again, this is just me reviewing it here for the collection purposes. So there you go. Heaven Pegasus. Very nice stamina type. So next up here, coming to the end of this last box here, to the end of the video, we're going to be taking a look at Judgment Joker. Now, he is a balanced type. We already looked at him before with both the original review on this and the Hasbro version as well. Judgment Joker J5. So, there you go. Or Judgment Joker for Hasbro. And TT. It's Karatomi. For those who don't know what I'm talking about. The Japanese company that makes these things. So, moving on to Judgment Joker here. Sorry, I just had to take a breather. Since I have been talking for a long time, for an hour, and for some reason my mouth and my brain, everything just doesn't want to do a video right now. But come on, hang in there, brain. Don't fall apart on me yet. Oh wait, it already has. Anyway, jokes aside, oh my god, I hate myself sometimes. Anyway, moving on to Judgment Joker here. Looks very, very nice. I do like the gold and the sort of weird pattern going on the heads and on the hats there. Looks very nice. I do like the size as well, as the Joker is based off of the Joker, which is a card used typically in, well, playing cards, and it's also based on the Jester, which was kind of the Dark Ages sort of medieval time interpretation of a clown. So there you go. And of course, because it is Japan, they had to make it crazy, so they put a scythe on the thing. Yeah, good job, Karatomi. You're totally not going to scare kids by doing that. Anyway, moving on. I do like this Beyblade a lot, even with its, oh god, interesting design choices. So, these sickles are indeed rubber. Well, did I call it sickles? I mean size. Oh my god, my brain. I'm sorry. The size are very, very nice looking. And I don't know why I say it like that. My stupid accent. Anyway, what am I talking about accent? I don't have an accent. I'm American. That's how I've always been. Well, actually, if you watch my Minecraft with Friends videos or any of my other stupid videos I've done where I'm just kind of screwing around, you would see that my voice goes around the world and 24/7. My voice is like Amelia Earhart, I swear to God. Anyway, so moving on. Oh wait, Amelia Earhart's dead. God, what has this video turned into? My God, I'm sorry guys. I'm just in a really giggly mood, okay? I apologize. I'm normally very serious with these kind of videos, and I actually try to like do a good analysis and kind of explanation of these things, but oh my god, I don't know what has gotten into me. But anyway, so Judgment Joker here is very nice. I do like it. Now the gimmick with the layer again is that with this, basically what happens is that there's a 50-50 chance with this one. So you guys can see there is a little pink rubber stopper there, which when it gets hit on this side and this side only, it can actually one hit burst the opponent, or it can hit this side and one hit burst itself. So there you go. And also with this, we do get the Zan weight as well. So very nice to see. But you already saw that again with Ace Dragon. So nice to see. So with this Beyblade, we also do get the return of the 00 disc, and which is very nice to see. And you also get this very nice teal turn frame as well, which is very nice. Now, my version, I actually did have to kind of modify it. I kind of had to shave down the plastic tabs here because it was actually interfering with the driver's gimmick, which you're going to look at, which I'm going to take a look at in a moment. If you haven't already seen my Judgment Joker review, both the Japanese and the Hasbro version. So, there you go. And again, you can rotate it around and change it to the attack and defense mode, which again kind of helps with the 50-50 game of chance kind of thing. So I do dig that. Can I get it on there? There we go. It's nice to see there. Now lastly, we do get the driver, which is called Trick. Now Trick is here in this nice kind of purple color, which the camera would focus. Oh god. There we go. So the gimmick with this is that it has this free spinning plate, and as you guys can see, it does have these little pieces that move up and down to change the mode. So right now it's in its stamina mode, but when you twist it, it slowly gets into an attack mode, where these parts cover up the point of the driver there. So, and because of the way this is designed, and because of the way it battles, this plate will actually randomly change the driver when it gets knocked over and when it hits these little spiky protrusions here. It will actually help change the mode randomly in battle, so it'll constantly keep changing and rotating the modes as it battles, which is really cool. I do like that. It also helps with the layer, that helps with the layer in tandem to change the modes up and make it kind of crazy and wild. So I do dig that. So very nice Beyblade there of Judgment Joker there. Lastly, we're going to take a look at another Hasbro exclusive GT design, which I do like. I do like this one because it's left spin. We don't see that very much with Hasbro designs, because they love doing right spins. But anyway, so moving right along, this is Viper Hydrax H5, also known as Viper Hydrax. So Viper Hydrax is very interesting, as it is based off of the Hydra, which is a multi-headed dragon or snake deity in Greek mythology. So really nice to see. Excuse me. As you can see with this Beyblade, as you can see, it is a defense type. As I forgot to mention before, it is a defense type. And it has this nice gold kind of purplish look to it. Now, if I didn't know any better, I thought this would have been an evolution of Typhon. Because as you guys can see, with Typhon, which I'm going to bring her in for comparison, we can see they're not too far off in terms of designs. If you didn't know any better, you'd think that these were the same guys, but they're not. They are completely different Beyblades. They're in no way related to each other in any way. But still, really nice Viper Hydrax. Do dig it. So taking off the layer, we do get the Python disc with this, which again is another Hasbro exclusive disc. I do like the look of it. I do like the sort of sigils going on with it. It does look very nice. So, and again, it is compatible with frames as well, which is nice to see. Then lastly, we get the Hasbro exclusive driver. This is the Coil driver, this time in Coil Hypersphere. So really nice to see. As you can see, it does have a little C there for Coil. So very nice to see. For another Hasbro exclusive design. Very kind of plain looking. Kind of looks like a snake's underbelly, which makes sense. Either that, or if you looked at it, you know, or you could also see it as a snake coiled up into a ball there, which is kind of nice, like a ball python would. When it's, or well, actually not really a ball python. Any kind of predatory snake will coil up into a ball and kind of strangle its prey to death. This just got really graphic. Oh my god. But alright guys, that's going to be the end of today's silly video, so thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to drop a like on this video. And if you're new, please make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow with